This spot used to have a lot of poison oak, just like the area next to it. Just like here, poison oak being one of the more common plants in the area. These ones have been cut back, but they've all sprouted back, as poison oak does. But out in this whole area, I've pretty much eradicated poison oak without chemicals, without goats, just by the right kind of mowing at the right time of the year, and only once a year. This technique is different than the one I showed in a recent video. This is one I use more in the sunny, open areas. The other one I use more in the shaded, forested areas, although this would probably work in either. It used to be like this picture I showed before, but now there's hardly any poison oak. None of these green things are poison oak. With some strategic mowing and the help of the deer, it's all gone. It's not a quick fix. It takes a few years to do this. From about here up is the area where I've treated over the years and the poison oak's gone. From here down, I've only treated it 2 years. We still have poison oak here. I missed last year, so it got a little bit out of hand, but this will be a good example to show you how I do this. If I wouldn't have missed a year, this poison oak would be a lot lower. I wait until the grasses and the other plants have mostly turned brown. I don't do that because of the poison oak. I do that because there are a lot of native plants out here, annuals. I wait until they go to seed before I mow them down. That helps the native plants reproduce that will take the place of the poison oak. That's one reason, but the main reason I wait until it dries is because I only want to mow it once a year. If I mow it when things are still green and growing, I'll have to mow it again. The timing just happens to work out well for the poison oak too. In the late spring, right after the poison oak has put out a lot of energy and effort into putting on its new growth, you whack the top of it right off. I like to use a string trimmer because you can cut it off right at the ground and take off every single leaf. We're not messing around here. This is no delicately prancing around the golf course with a mower kind of job. This is a we want to take every blankety blank leaf it has kind of job. We want to take every bit of photosynthetic material it possibly could have. Photosynthetic material is just a fancy word meaning things like leaves or other parts of the plant that engage in photosynthesis. In other words, we're going to mess that plant's business up. And it's no job for someone who just wants to sit on their tractor with a mower kind of job. A mower's not going to get low enough unless you put the blade all the way to the ground, and that's no good. Now that things are starting to dry out, the food sources for the deer start to become less varietable. There are fewer things out there for the deer to eat. Now they start to eat more things like poison oak. With these poison oak plants that I just cut off, now they're going to start sending up these tender new shoots. The deer will start eating those fresh new leaves. I mean, you can't blame them for that. Who wants to eat old, tough poison oak leaves when you can eat these new, fresh ones that are tender? So every time the poison oak tries to sprout back new leaves, the deer come through and eat the leaves off. And with everything mowed around them, they don't have to worry about grass and sticks and twigs and things poking up in their nose while they're trying to eat. I mean, who wants sticks and junk poking up your nose when you're trying to eat? I don't. I'm guessing the deer are the same way. After a few years of this, the poison oak gets weaker and weaker as it becomes more pathetic, starves and dies. The last few days I've been trying to get some footage of the deer eating poison oak, or just out here grazing on something so it looks like they're eating the poison oak, but the deer haven't been cooperating very well. Now I'm getting back into the part where there's no poison oak, where I've been mowing it for several years. This part goes much more quickly because I don't have to mow as low to the ground or as thoroughly because there's no poison oak. It is faster, but not that much faster. So we're going to put it into turbo mode here in a second so you don't have to spend an hour watching me do this. Here we go into turbo mode. Of course, if you're allergic to poison oak, cutting poison oak with a weed whacker might be a bad idea for you because it will throw poison oak all over you. In that case, you might want to find some poor sucker who will do it for you. If you're having a hard time finding a sucker to do it, you can always go Tom Sawyer on them. Tell them how much fun they're going to have. You can take your line of BS as far as you need to. Tell them all the cool kids are doing it. It'll make you feel good. Use peer pressure if you have to. If they fall for it, that's okay. Maybe they'll learn a lesson from it. I prefer doing this on a breezy day so I can stay upwind of the cutting head and don't have to breathe the dust. Also being aware, on a windy day there is an increased chance of sparking a wildfire that could get away. We are in wildfire season now, but at the moment, wildfire danger is rated at low. In a few weeks, as things dry out, that will change. We'll have higher fire danger. I won't want to be doing this in a few weeks. When cutting or working in dry grass, always be aware of the potential to spark a wildfire. Now that the poison oak's gone here, the main reason I continue mowing is to create defensible space in case we do get a wildfire. Now I'm getting to the edge of where I usually mow. On our right, no, on our left. The guy who's mowing, his right, our left, there's no poison oak where I usually mow. On the right, there is poison oak where I don't mow. Now I'm going to start mowing that poison oak to expand my area where there's no poison oak over the next few years. I've found this to work well here, but you may have a different situation where you are. You may have a different climate, different plants. You may have a situation where it doesn't work as well where you are. But for here, it works well. Someone will inevitably tell me, you should get goats, they'll eat the poison oak. That can be a good solution for people who want to have goats. I don't want to have goats. Spending just part of a day once a year doing this is a lot less work than having to deal with goats. I did it! I finished the whole thing, all by myself. You may be wondering how I was able to go so fast when I put it into turbo mode. Well, you may have noticed I put on different clothes to run the weed whacker. When I did, I put on my Camel City Mill American-made merino wool socks. Putting those on is a little bit like when Popeye eats spinach. It allows me to run faster, jump higher, and mow faster. You saw it, didn't you? Actually, that's not true. None of that was true. I'm not even wearing those socks because they're dirty. I'm waiting for those to go through the laundry. I need to get more pairs. I don't have enough of them. And now I'm wearing these junky, trashy, stupid socks. Summer's here, the weather's getting hot. They'll keep your feet cool and dry. Do yourself and your feet a favor. Check out those socks, 10% off on the link below. Doing that will be even more fun than whitewashing a fence, mowing poison oak. It'll make you feel good. All the cool kids are doing it. You don't want to be the only one wearing trashy, stupid socks while everyone else has the good camel socks. And it supports the channel. It helps to allow me to spend the time I do making these videos.